Kate opened her eyes. The chandelier looked exactly like it did last time. Her phone lit up. Wedding countdown, 5 hours. Last time she wore white into that church. 3 years later, she left with nothing. This time she swung out of bed, opened the closet, picked the dark blue dress. Then she dialed a number. She walked into the bathroom, closed the door, looked at herself in the mirror. Last time she cried in front of this mirror for a long time. This time she pulled the corner of her mouth. Not bad. 2 hours later she stood in the church-side hall. The blue dress felt like borrowed armor. The white one was too tight. Last time he said the same thing. She came. He wasn't there. This time was different. She came. But she'd leave before he did. The church was full. White flower arch. Piano. Sunlight breaking through stained glass into a floor of color. Kate stood outside the door. A bridesmaid adjusted her dress behind her. The music changed. The bride's entrance cue. She pushed the door open. 200 people turned to look. Kate didn't look at Alex. She scanned the last row. Liam Cross. Dark gray suit. A glass of water in front of him, untouched. He was looking at her. Not the she's pretty kind of look. The I know why you're here kind? She didn't know how he knew. But she needed him to. The priest cleared his throat. We are gathered here today? Kate took 3 steps forward to witness the union of Alex Harris and Kate. She stopped. Before God, she spoke. I object. 3 seconds of silence. Then a buzz like boiling water. Alex's face went from confusion to white. His mother stood up and sat down. Someone in the bridesmaid group screamed. The priest stared at her. What did you say? Kate turned, faced the last row. He paused. Then he said, I said, if she ever figured things out, she knew where to find me. I figured things out. The church exploded. Alex rushed over and grabbed her wrist. Kate, what are you doing? You've lost your mind. His voice was shaking. His fingers were tight enough to break her bones. Let her go. Liam was already in the aisle. His voice was light. Like he was ordering another coffee. Alex didn't let go. You and her? When did you? 3 minutes ago. Kate pulled her wrist free. The wedding gifts are with the maid of honor. Tell her to return Alex's family's share. Liam will cover yours. She turned and walked out of the church. Her heels clicked on the marble floor. Every step was steady. Last time she ran after him. This time she walked on 6-centimeter heels. Whether he followed was his choice. The church door closed behind her. She stood on the steps. The sun was harsh. She blinked. She heard the door open. Aren't you moving a little fast? You think I was acting? I think you weren't acting. You were really leaving. Then why did you follow me out? He walked up beside her, stood next to her. Because I need an answer. I already told you I figured things out. That's one side of the answer. I need to see the other sides. You don't need to help me. I know. I might not be able to help you. I know that too. Then what's in it for you? He looked at her. No smile. Alex stole a deal from me 3 years ago. Signed the agreement in front of me. Called the seller behind my back and took it. I don't know how you found me to play this game. But I need someone. And you happen to be her. You don't need to know why I hate him. You just need to know I won't let him win. Fine. I'm with you. How long? Until I win. And after? She paused. I don't know. That's your problem. My problem is making him lose first. She reached out her hand. He took it. I'm starting to think you're more interesting than I thought. Don't start thinking. I don't need you to think. She let go, walked toward the parking lot. Liam stood still, watched her back for 3 seconds, then followed. Liam's car sat in the farthest corner of the parking lot. A black sedan. Files piled in the back seat. Kate opened the passenger door. Sat down. Seatbelt. She put it on. He started the engine. As the car rolled out of the lot, her phone buzzed. Alex. Incoming. She didn't pick up. It buzzed again. Alex's family lawyer. She didn't pick up either. You're not going to answer him? I did. In my head? Liam glanced at her. What does that mean? It means I'll let him vent first. How long do you think that takes? 3 days. Enough time for him to rage. Yell. Call his lawyer. And realize suing me is pointless. Then he'll sit down to negotiate. Negotiate what? Kate flipped her phone face down. Terms. He needs to save face. I need what I want. There's overlap. The car went quiet for a few seconds. He knows he's in my car. You told him. You know how many rumors this will start? Good. Let him see us together in the press. He'll panic. Panicked people make bad moves. You talk like you've done this before. I have. He didn't ask further. The car stopped in front of a high-rise apartment building. You live here? Company property. Kate got out. The night air was cold. Your apartment or your office? Same thing. Upstairs. First door on the right. Code 0802. I'll park and come up. You're not afraid I'll take your stuff? You don't even have a suitcase. She laughed. Good observation. A gray-toned living room. Floor to ceiling windows. The city skyline glowing across from her. A file sat on the coffee table. She walked over, picked it up. Investment Cooperation Agreement, Cross Capital and M.E. Holdings. No signature. No company stamp. A blank contract on the table, Liam's way of saying he was ready, but the words were hers to write. The door opened. Liam walked in. Keys on the entry table. Fast. Your file was faster. You read it. The cover. What do you think? Blank, waiting for me to fill it. Means you don't fully trust me, but you need me. Liam walked to the kitchen, poured 2 glasses of water. It means I need someone useful. You're in that position? But I don't know what you can actually do. Kate put the file down. Your target is Alex Harris. His company's biggest weakness is Mark Hudson, the man who kept his finances together for 8 years. But last year Hudson's son got into trouble. Alex didn't help. Hudson still remembers. Find Hudson. Pull him away. And half of Alex's cash flow dies. Liam set down his glass. How do you know about Hudson's son? You can't ask me that. Why? Because I won't answer. They looked at each other. Liam looked away first. Fine. I won't ask. Fine. I won't ask. I need 3 changes to this contract. 1. You cover living expenses during the partnership. 2. I keep an exit clause the day I decide I'm done. I walk. 3. M.E. gets 30%. 30%? I'm not putting in money. He looked at her over his glass for a moment. 15. 25. 20. Deal. She picked up the pen, wrote the 3 amendments on the blank spaces. Signed. Then she handed him the pen. He took it. Signed. You didn't even read the full contract. I saw the cover. It's a standard investment agreement. You're not the type to hide traps in boilerplate. He looked at her. This time he didn't look away. Who are you? You just signed me. Her phone buzzed. Alex. This time she picked up. Hello? Where are you? Kate leaned against the window. The city lights spread beneath her. Somewhere better than where you are. You've lost your mind. Do you know what you did today? I did it on purpose. The line went silent. Liam stood by the kitchen counter. That call, yeah. He was recording it, I know. Liam leaned on the counter. Your talent for lying is as good as your talent for planning.
It's not lying.
Then what is it? It's the truth. I just told him at a time he didn't want to hear it. She glanced at the contract. Which room is mine? End of the hall. Right side. She started walking down the hall, stopped after a few steps. What breakfast meeting? Will Mercer's Charity Foundation. 2 of Alex's biggest donors will be there. Kate froze. You want me to come?
You're my partner.
Of course you're coming. The second they see me, they'll know today's news. Let them. He picked up the contract. That's exactly what you want them to see. It's what I want too. So we play the full show? Kate looked at him. What time did you say the breakfast was? 7. I'll be downstairs. I'll be there at 6:40. 5. Kate stood downstairs at 6:40. 5. Black dress, hair up, no jewelry. Liam walked out, stopped at the door, looked her up and down. Are you going to negotiate or to end someone's business? Depends on how they behave. Once inside, he handed her a folder. Hudson's assistant confirmed day after tomorrow. He'll meet. Kate opened it. The first page was a printed email thread. How did you get this? A VP under Hudson leaked it. I helped that VP on a deal 3 years ago. Kate closed the folder. You've been laying this line for 3 years. I didn't know when I'd need it. Just kept it warm. Kate looked at him. Last time it took her 3 years to see the full board of Alex's game. This time she saw the other players' pieces on day 1. He's been laying this line for 3 years. So am I walking into a game he started long before I showed up, or did I flip the board in the right direction? The dinner was on the 3rd floor of a private club. Marble hallway. Low lighting. The air smelled like cedar and silver. Kate walked in. 6 people sat around the table. Will Mercer was at the head. He stood up. So, you're the bride from this afternoon. Kate held out her hand. My name is Kate. Liam's partner. Mercer shook her hand, paused.
You look younger than your photos?
You don't like partners under
25? He laughed. I like interesting people. Sit. She sat. Liam beside her. Across from her sat a man she didn't recognize, 50. Clean nails, an untouched whiskey in front of him. Liam said quietly, Marcus Webb, one of Alex's major shareholders. Kate didn't turn her head. You brought me here because he's here? Because he came. I came. She smiled. Barely. You won. During a lull. A gap in the conversation as the second course arrived. Ms. Kate. Marcus set down his knife and fork. Your decision at the wedding yesterday, I want to ask a question I shouldn't. Ask. Did you know Liam before the wedding? I met him once at the Drexel dinner. He sat 12 seats away from me. And that one meeting was enough? It was enough for one thing. Some people you know in one look if they're worth trusting. Other people you watch for 3 years before you realize they're not. It took me one dinner to see the difference between those 2 men. Mercer laughed at the end of the table. Marcus didn't. And who did you decide wasn't worth trusting? Kate held his gaze. Did you watch today's news? I did. Then you already know the answer. Marcus picked up his glass. Good answer. He drank. Kate's phone buzzed. She glanced down Alex's private number. She didn't answer. Rejected the call. Not answering? No. Does he know where you are? He doesn't. But he knows where you are. Liam paused. He had someone follow your car. The call was to confirm I'm here. Mercer heard from the other end of the table. Your ex-fiancé is having you followed? Why wouldn't he? I rejected him in front of 200 people yesterday. Mercer looked at Liam. Liam, the person you're working with, she's not the quiet type. Liam picked up his glass. I didn't look for quiet. I looked for useful. Kate looked up. Marcus is one of Alex's biggest shareholders. But I know Marcus wanted to pull his capital last November. Alex locked him in with a new performance clause. Marcus's expression shifted. How do you know that? I heard. From who? Someone who knows. She set down her fork. What if I told you that performance clause has a hole in it? Would you want to hear it? Marcus stared at her. Go on. Alex's supply chain runs through a single source. If the contract has a force majeure trigger, and that supplier fails, the performance clause collapses. He can't afford the penalty. How do you know his supplier contract details? You don't need to know that. Marcus was silent for a long moment. Mercer poured Liam a drink. Liam took it.
Didn't drink.
Marcus finally said, I owe you one. Kate stood up. I don't take favors. I take information. She picked up her bag. Marcus, next time you negotiate your exit, I'll be in the room. She walked out of the private room. The hallway was quiet. Her heels clicked on the wooden floor. Liam followed her out. That was too much. I've been working the Hudson line for 3 years. I didn't even know about Marcus. Kate stopped. There's a lot you don't know. Then how do you know? She turned around. I can't tell you. You can't tell me again? Right? Liam stood in the hallway for a few seconds. Then what can you tell me? She looked at him. I can tell you Hudson will meet me tomorrow. I can tell you Marcus will call me before Thursday. I can tell you before Christmas Alex's cash flow will dry up. Under the hallway light, he stared at her. How much do you actually know? Enough to get here, not enough to finish. The rest I'll figure out on the way. She turned and walked to the elevator. Liam stood in the hallway for a few seconds, then followed. The elevator doors closed. They stood side by side. The floor numbers dropped. What are you thinking? Liam asked. Kate didn't turn. I'm thinking, you've been laying the Hudson line for 3 years. You found out about Marcus today. That means half the cards on your side of the table. I turned over for you. The other half, I don't know what they are. Fair. You don't need to. I need to know one thing.
What?
The night before the wedding. 3 nights ago. What were you thinking? The elevator stopped. The doors opened. Kate walked out. She crossed the lobby. Reached the car. I was thinking one thing. She opened the door. This time, I'll win. 1:40 in the morning. Kate woke up. Not an alarm. Just a switch going off in her head. She sat up. The guest room was dark. A strip of city light leaked through the curtain gap. She stood up. Walked out. One light was on in the living room. The one by the floor. 2. Ceiling window. Liam sat on the couch. Laptop open. 3 empty coffee cups on the coffee table. You're awake. You're not. Couldn't sleep. Kate walked over. Sat across from him. Hudson replied to your email? He did. Day after tomorrow. 3 p.m. His assistant said 40 minutes max. 40 is enough. She glanced at his screen. A spreadsheet of numbers. What are you doing?
Calculating.
If Marcus pulls out, how long before Alex fills the gap? How long? Without backup financing, 3 months. He has it. Liam looked up. What backup? He signed a letter of intent with a Hong Kong fund last year. Terms weren't public. But I know the amount. Enough for 6 months. Liam stared at her. You know that too?
Yes. How?
His office shredder broke once. Someone found the pieces. Liam laughed. Not the you're funny kind. I don't believe you, but I can't argue with what you're saying kind. You pulled papers out of his shredder? He wasn't there.
You went through his office?
Yes.
When?
After we got engaged. He went on a business trip. I said I'd feed his fish. Were you feeding fish or feeding on files? Both. Liam set down his coffee cup. Who are you?
I already answered that.
You answered your situation. Not who you are. Kate leaned back on the couch. Who I am. Someone who was betrayed and knows she can't afford to be betrayed again. Liam looked at her. Silence. Then he stood up. Walked into the kitchen. What do you want to drink? What do you have? Water? Coffee? Whiskey? Water. He poured a glass. Walked over. Handed it to her. Her hand paused in the air for a beat, the way he handed it. His fingers didn't wrap around the rim. The bottom of the glass faced her. Kate held it. Didn't drink. You just said you're someone who was betrayed and knows she can't afford to be betrayed again. I said it. So what? Then why are you sitting here on day 3? Signed a contract. Living under the same roof as a man you've met twice.
You signed the contract.
Changed your dress. Walked into the church and said, I object. Every step was calculated. But you couldn't calculate that I'd be sitting here saying this to you. I could. Could what? Calculate that you'd be sitting here talking to me. Day 2, you couldn't calculate that I'd been laying the Hudson line for 3 years. But today you're telling me you calculated that I'd talk to you. Kate's fingers paused on the rim of her glass. Fine. I didn't calculate how you'd talk. But I calculated that you wouldn't hurt me.
Why?
Because if you were the type to hurt me, you wouldn't need a partner. You'd need a pretty face to sit next to you and look good. You don't need me. You need someone who can talk. Liam didn't respond. She kept going, but at dinner tonight, when I stabbed Alex in front of Marcus, you didn't stop me. You didn't say anything. But your hand moved under the table. Liam's expression didn't change. You want to know what that was? I know what that hand gesture was. Thumb on ring finger. You were calculating? Thinking, is this information real? If it is, she can help me. If it's not, she's playing with fire. How do you know what gesture I was making? Because I did the same thing last time. Liam was silent for a long moment. How do you know what gesture I was making? Because I did the same thing last time. 2:30 in the morning. The light was still on. Kate stood up. What time tomorrow? 9. Meeting at the office. Send me Hudson's file. I'll read it before noon. Liam picked up his whiskey. You know what scares me most about you? Every sentence you say sounds like you've already planned the next move. And I've never seen you stuck. Kate stood. Looked down at him. I've been stuck. When? When I took that glass of water from you. She turned and walked back to the guest room. The door closed softly. Liam sat in the living room. He looked down at his own glass. Which way was the bottom facing when he handed it to her? The bottom was facing him. The gesture she saw, he never made it. He sat on the couch for a long time. The whiskey stayed in his hand until it went cold. He never drank it. He thought, what gesture did she actually see? 2:50, 5 p.m. Kate stood in the lobby of an office building, dark gray suit. No makeup, holding only a phone and an envelope. Liam stood beside her. Sure you want to go alone? Sure. Hudson doesn't know you're with me. I'm your partner, not your person. The lobby was clean. Cold. He won't open up to someone he doesn't know. He will. Why? Because of his son. That information is mine. You can't find it. You spent 3 years laying a line to a VP, not to Hudson himself. Liam stood in the lobby, his reflection in the glass door. After you go up, I'll wait here. You don't need to. I'll wait. Hudson's office was on the 29th floor. The front desk called in. The door opened. Hudson stood behind his desk, 60. Graying hair, no jacket. Shirt sleeves rolled to his forearms. He didn't extend his hand. Ms. Kate. Mr. Hudson. I didn't invite you. I invited Liam Cross as representative. I'm the representative. Hudson studied her. You know about my son?
Yes.
How? The way you handled it wasn't clean. Someone saw? Hudson's face didn't change. But he sat down. How much do you know? She didn't sit. Your son was arrested in San Francisco 2 years ago. It took you 18 hours to get him out. No record. But by the end of that year, you signed a new performance clause because you spent too much money in those 18 hours. What do you want with this? To make you a deal. What deal? You leave Alex Harris's board. Move your assets to Cross Capital. Hudson didn't answer. He looked at her, then he laughed. Do you know what you're asking me? Yes. I've known Alex for 15 years. I know. He saved me once. He stabbed you once too. Hudson's smile disappeared. Who told you that? No one. I saw the loan records in Alex's files. Hudson Development. You repay every quarter on the same day he gives you a new loan. He's using debt to keep you tied. She put the envelope on his desk. This is the exit plan. Have a lawyer read it, then call me. My card is in the envelope. She turned. Kate. She stopped. How old are you? Not the point. You just made me feel like a child being interrogated. Then you should fix your contract information management. She walked out. Liam stood in the lobby. He looked at his phone. No new messages. His right hand was in his pocket. Thumb pressed against the screen, not the gesture he made under the table. He was just checking the time. The elevator doors opened. Kate walked out. Her face was calm. Not the kind of calm after a win. The kind of calm after finishing something and already thinking about the next thing.
What did Hudson say?
He'll call you?
Liam looked at her. 40 minutes? You said 40 minutes. I told him in 30. 8. 2 minutes of margin. Liam laughed. Not a business laugh. The kind he didn't want her to see but couldn't stop. When you were up there? What? Not a single moment did I think you'd be up there longer than 30 minutes. Kate walked past him. Toward the entrance. You spent 3 years laying that line. I closed it. Not because I could, but because you shouldn't have spent 3 years. You should have gone to him directly. Liam stood still. She walked out. Wind rushed in. She held down her dress. He stood there, watching her back. The car was parked at the curb. Kate opened the passenger door. Sat down. Liam got in the driver's seat. He didn't start the engine. That thing you said earlier, where did you see it? What? Hudson's loan records. Alex's office? He let you read his files? He didn't. Liam turned his head.
You went through his files.
Yes. You were his fiancé? Yes. You went through his files while you were still together. Kate looked at him. I was preparing an exit. Everyone prepares an exit. How far did you prepare? Kate didn't answer. She looked out the window at the street, far enough that when I stood up to leave one day, I wouldn't leave empty-handed. The car was quiet for a moment. Liam started the engine. The car pulled out of the parking ramp. Sunlight came in. She squinted. Kate. Yeah. Is there any day you don't prepare an exit? She didn't answer. The car turned a corner. Yes, one. Which one? Hasn't come yet. The car stopped at the apartment building. Kate unfastened her seatbelt. What's for dinner? Liam turned off the engine. Trust me. You don't want me to cook. I do. Then I'll cook. You're not going to ask what? No. You make it. I'll eat it. She opened the door. Then paused. Liam.
Yeah.
You spent 3 years laying that line. I closed it. You don't need to thank me. And I don't need you to. But you need to know I'm not your weapon. I'm sitting here because there's a hole I can't fill alone. We cross that bridge together. After we're across, you decide if you still want to work with me. She got out, closed the door. Liam sat in the car. He started the engine. then turned it off again. He sat there for a long time. Then he got out, walked into the building. 6 weeks later, Alex Harris Group's news broke at 11:03 a.m. Harris Group triggers performance clause after supply chain default. Marcus Webb's capital withdrawal sets off a chain reaction. Kate sat on the windowsill. Her phone screen glowed. She read the article, pressed the lock button, flipped the phone face down. No expression. Last time she sat on the floor of his living room watching the same face appear on financial news. Not a default, but his Businessman of the Year cover. Her coffee had gone cold. She didn't know she was about to be thrown out with nothing. Marcus pulled out faster than she expected. 3 weeks ahead of schedule. Alex's supply chain default was an old wound that opened the moment Hudson left. The Hong Kong letter of intent stalled after Hudson's exit, triggering the performance clause guarantee. Marcus called Kate that afternoon. She didn't answer. Replied with 2 words, "Next week." Kate stood on the 17th floor of an office building. At the end of the hallway was her office. Her name wasn't on the door yet. The door was already open. A new computer sat on the desk, a potted plant beside it. Liam left it there. She never asked. He never said. She pushed the door open. On the desk was an envelope. She opened it. Inside was a key. And a note. M.E. Holdings. 17F. Welcome home. No signature. She walked to the window, pushed it open. City air rushed in. She looked down. He was standing on the street below. Not a coincidence. He had a file in his hand. He was here for business. But he stopped. He looked up. He saw her. Kate stood at the window. She didn't wave. She didn't smile. She was just there, looking at him. Liam stood on the street. He saw the open window. He saw the person in it. He didn't move. She knew he saw her. It was the first time she didn't plan the next step. She just stood there. Standing in an office with her name on it. Standing in air she bought herself. Below her was someone who, when he saw her, didn't look away. She waited 3 seconds. Then she pulled the file back in.